Okay, let me know if this sounds familiar to you. It's the end of the month, and all month long, you've been thinking, okay, if I can just get through this month, next month's going to be so much easier. And then you turn the page in your calendar, and your heart sinks because guess what? You're starting to realize that next month is going to be just as crazy, if not worse, than this one. Now, if this sounds familiar to you, the problem isn't that you're not planning your months or your weeks correctly. The real issue is that you're missing the roadmap that actually supports staying out of overwhelm when you do your weekly and monthly planning. Hey, friends, welcome back to Work Life Harmony. Today, I'm going to be talking about some subtle reasons around why annual planning is so important. And if you want to substitute out the word, instead of calling it annual planning, think about it as more long-term strategic planning, all right? Because it doesn't just have to, exist between January and December. But today we're going to be talking about why this level of planning is so important. Now, before I dive in, I want to share a really fun message that just popped up from someone who recently has purchased their ticket for our annual planning event going down this October. And here's what she wrote in. She said, Megan, I just bought my ticket and I can't wait. 2025 has been the least stressful year I've had in the last 15 years. And I know it's because of the work I did at Planapalooza last year. I wanted to share that with you because that's ultimately what I'm going to be talking about here today is why the work that I do and what I teach in Planapalooza and why the annual planning process, when done the right way, absolutely helps keep you out of overwhelm. All right. And at the crux of all of this is the fact that so many people think that the solution to getting out of the daily, tomorrow's just going to be better, or next week's just going to be better. They really think that the solution is, I just need to get better at prioritizing routines, right? So they double down on routines. And while, yes, routines can help you do things more efficiently, right? But it's not going to prevent you from constantly jamming in too much, right? When you're doing weekly and monthly planning, yes, they're going to support you. Things are going to run a little bit smoother. Again, you might maximize some efficiencies. But if you notice that you're never getting the downtime that you need, and every month, month after month, feels too crammed, right? And one way I like to think about this, I call it just in time living, meaning, yeah, your stuff's getting done, but it's always just kind of getting done just in time, right? Then this is likely a sign that you have not been taught how to do that longer term annual strategic planning. All right. So it may be that the planning you're doing is supporting one part of your life and you're not failing at your weekly planning. It's just you're trying to plan without getting the full longer term picture. All right, so I want to break down 4 things that annual planning is going to support you in all year long. And this is really at the heart of what you're going to learn how to do when you come to the live annual planning event with me in October of 2025. All right, I'm going to be teaching you the very pragmatic, tactical way of doing it. At the end of our time together, you'll have your annual plan in place. All right, but here is why it is so important, and here is how it is going to support you into 2026. All right, so first and foremost, when done the right way, it is going to keep you aligned to what matters most for you. Now, notice I'm saying for you. Part of the process that we're going to walk through here is I'm going to guide you through a couple of exercises that are going to help you discover at the end of the day, if I'm reflecting back on my year, like here's what's going to matter most, but you need to have a framework to put it in. And so that's what we do with our year at a glance and our annual one pager. All right. So again, when annual planning is done the right way, it's going to keep you aligned with what matters most. And when you have the tools that keep you aligned with what matters most, what happens is you have a much better decision-making filter around what you say yes to and what you say no to. right? If you don't have this in place, you are going to end up saying yes to too many things, and you're probably going to get yourself overbooked and overscheduled because without having a clear set of priorities in place, it's really hard to be thoughtful about our decision making in terms of where our time goes. Now, the second thing that it's going to do for you is it's going to help prevent a very common trap that women fall into, which is this idea of everything is urgent or everything is important, right? In the heat of the moment, when you are in decision making mode, usually our anxiety levels go up a little bit. The chemicals in our brain start responding in a way that maybe makes us feel a little nervous, kind of similar to that fight, flight, or freeze mentality, right? And when we're in that state, everything feels urgent and important, right? Even the little stuff that in a calmer state, we know is not important. But if we're living where those levels are high, everything is going to be feeling important all the time. And that's what happens when we are operating in just like a week to week or day to day, or in some cases, maybe even hour to hour lifestyle. So instead, when we get that annual plan in place, it's going to essentially start planning backwards a little bit, where you're going to have your core values, your big overarching goals, dreams, desires for the year. And then when we feed that into our more detailed weekly and monthly planning processes, suddenly we start getting much more clarity around what is urgent and important and what isn't. So we start to filter out by default a lot of these things that historically could make us feeling very chaotic. And now they aren't because we're preventing that everything is urgent and important trap. Now, the third thing that annual planning is going to do for you is it is going to, the way I teach it, it's going to integrate your real life with those dreams and goals. So many ways that I see other people, other productivity experts teaching strategic planning, goal setting, and annual planning is everything is centered around your goals, right? Whether it's the pick your top three, whether it's in a form of what's your 5-year vision, whether it's in the form of creating a vision board for your year, right? They are keeping you 100% focused on your desires, your dreams, your goals, without also assessing real life, right? Just as let's use a money example because it's always so easy to make examples with money. It would be very easy to think about all the amazing things that you might want to go purchase, and you could create a whole saving plan for it and all of that. But you also have to look at the realities of how much money is coming in and how much money is spoken for already with recurring bills that you may not be able to get rid of, right? We need to do the same when we're doing our annual and strategic planning. We have to integrate real life with our goals, dreams, and desires. Because when we do that, the likelihood of us actually succeeding on them is going to go up tenfold. All right. So annual planning done the right way is going to account for, like, let's say you're a mom right now. It's going to account for all of your kids' activities and carpool schedules, et cetera, and the goals that you have. And then it's going to show you how you're going to make progress on those. All right. So ultimately, what it's going to set you up for is it means you will no longer be stuck in that place where you have to feel like you are choosing between showing up in your life or pursuing your goals, right? And I know so many women, we feel like we have to have, it's one or the other. And it's because you haven't been taught how to create a plan that integrates both. Now, another reason why, and this is the last one I'll cover today, I could probably list out 25 reasons why annual planning is going to support you in the upcoming year with not being so overbooked, not feeling like every month you're cramming things in, is that it is going to actually build in breathing room for you instead of you scheduling catch up time. All right, now I'm going to repeat that because it's important to understand the difference. If you are doing, really good at planning your days, your weeks, maybe even your months, what I see a lot of people doing is they are proactively planning in time to catch up. Okay, well, I'm just going to, keep my, whatever it looks like on your calendar. I'm going to keep my Friday afternoons clear so that I can get caught up on everything that doesn't get done in the week. Versus I am creating a plan that supports breathing room. Breathing room and catch-up time are not the same thing. Breathing room means time for rest, time for reflection, time for a day, a Saturday where you get to wake up either yourself or with your family and go, what do we feel like doing today? Not today's the day we got to catch up and do all the stuff that we didn't get done during the week. There's a big difference there. And so if you can't remember the last time you had breathing room, it may be because you haven't been taught how to do that longer term, annual, or strategic planning. All right. Because when we start learning the right amount of detail to put into that annual plan, this is what supports you in spreading things out. This is what supports you in protecting time for the things that you love to do so that the things you like to do aren't becoming have-tos that you're cramming in at the last minute, right? It's also going to help you avoid complete chaos during seasons that historically are always busy. And if you had planned appropriately, you could have enjoyed them without feeling quite so chaotic. So kind of recap here, 4 of the things I wanted to talk about today of how annual planning is going to support you. First, it's going to help keep you aligned to what matters most. It's going to make that decision-making so much easier for you. Second, it's going to help you prevent being stuck in that place where everything's feeling urgent and important. Third, it's going to integrate your real life with your dreams. You are no longer going to be stuck feeling like you have to choose between the two. And fourth, it's going to create breathing room instead of having to plan for catch-up time. Now, if you have never learned how to create annual plans in the way I've been talking about here today, I have great news for you. This is exactly what my once-a-year annual planning event is going to do for you. It's called Planapalooza. It's going down in October. It's a 2-day virtual live event with me, and yes, it includes all of the replays. So even if you can't join me live, it is still worth your time to grab the ticket because you'll be able to go back, watch the replays, and finally allow 2026 to be the year you have breathing room, you have clarity around what's important, and you are integrating your goals into your everyday life. So you can go grab your ticket at megansumrell.com/plan. And I can't wait to do this with you.